My name is Wes Stafford. I'm the project manager for the Wayne Branch Rail Trail project, and I'm here just to give you kind of a final overview of the project. We have basically finished. We will be submitting the final report to Caova by the end of this month, December, just to finalize the project. But to give you a brief overview, I've discussed most of the issues that you'll see coming up previously in other TAC meetings, but I'm just run through this real quick. Here's kind of our agenda today. I'm going to show you the track review, our trailhead layouts, our crossing options, go through that quickly, our cost estimates, our final report, and just briefly touch on our public meeting. We completed a track review probably in the middle of last summer. We did an inventory where we basically looked at the whole corridor on each of the crossings. We never did get access from NS to the actual rail corridor, so we had to do it externally, but you could view almost everything off-site except for some remote locations that went through, areas where there wasn't any good access. Some of the things we looked at was we did it through 4 field visits. We obtained bound maps actually from DOT, but they came from the railroad originally. We reviewed bridges and at-grade crossings, took photos. We tried to decide where to put trailhead locations, which we did identify those. And then we created a database that had information about the crossings. Were they mid-block, residential, etc.? Were they public or private? What kind of site distance did they have? What kind of ADT was on that road daily, average daily traffic? And what kind of traffic control did the railroad crossings have in areas? Some of them might be lighted with the full control, and other ones are really just very rural with no control at all. We broke the trail into 5 segments. It kind of corresponded with where we wanted to put trailhead locations and gave them independent utility. We ended up with 6 different trailhead locations, and we developed the design footprint for each of those and a cost estimate. This map kind of shows you where the trailheads are located. One's Buffalo Creek, Lavalette, 2 are at Wayne, 1 at the north end, 1 at the south end, and the last one is at Eastland Lake. These are how they were laid out, and you kind of start at the beginning right here, the northernmost one is displayed, and then as you go down the corridor, this is Buffalo, this is Lavalette, this is the northern Wayne, the southern Wayne, which is near the park, and then ultimately down at Eastland. We looked at the railroad crossing treatments, as I mentioned, identified whether they were residential, controlled, uncontrolled, or mid-block crossings. We came up with a treatment of how to handle each of those crossings and identified those in graphics, which you can see kind of the yellow highlighted areas on these maps are what we recommend. I'm not going to go into detail on that since I discussed it in previous meetings with the TAC in the past. Ultimately, we created some cost estimates and determined economic benefit related to that. We looked at 2 different scenarios, if we built the rail trail using gravel or if we did it with asphalt. We did a literature search of similar type of trails and what their economic impacts were, and then we developed a range of benefit cost ratios for the 20-year period. And as you can see kind of how we broke it down. This is a table of what we did. It shows like the years of the various trails that we looked at, and the name of them are there on the side. The year that they were completed, the length of the trail, the estimated users, estimated trips, the average number of users per mile of trail, the economic development related to each other, and the average economic impact per user was developed. We were able to use that data to help us continue on operations. We used the number of users per year on the highest trail that was there, and the number of users per year, and the economic impact they created. So we had a high and a low estimate for that, and we feel like this trail will fall into that range. And the low estimate, the trail that we chose for that, the Ghost Town Trail in Pennsylvania, is very similar to the Wayne Branch Trail. It's kind of in a similar type of area, like coal mining, rural type of area, so it's very similar. So with those on, and develop cost estimates for both the asphalt and gravel service types of trails. So we did that, and each segment is broken down here. You can see the segment length on the list, and then the cost, and then total cost is at the very bottom. This is a gravel scenario, so to do the whole 32 miles in gravel would be around $44 million. For the 20-year period, you can see the asphalt numbers on there. I mentioned to you, actually for the maintenance is added into this one. So for asphalt at the top, it'd be about 53 million, and for gravel at the bottom, about 45 million. The economic benefits associated with that, depending on the number of users, could range from anywhere from 109 million to 54 million over 20 years. And the cost-benefit ratio for the high is almost double, and then for the low, it's around 1.0, whether you use asphalt or gravel. This is kind of a wrap up. Next steps, which we've already basically done. We did take a look. It was part of our scope of work just to do a cursory review of railway trails and kind of talk about them. And there is some write up in the report discussing our findings related to these. One was railway trail, which would require additional right of way. Another one is first train option, which you would have to hire a private operator. You would use the existing rail, and you would have to decide, where along the corridor would be the interesting view sheds and aesthetics for passengers. And then the last option would be the rail bike, which these are popping up in several places around West Virginia, but they require a private operator, just like the first train. They could use the existing rail, and they potentially could use all or shorter segments of the rail corridor. This seems like a pretty good option, honestly. It's not super expensive, and these rail cars are easy to handle. I think at the end of these, kind of lift them up on a hydraulic jack, spin them around, put them right back down, and you ride right back to your beginning destination. Final step is finalizing the draft study report, which is we have done. We waited till December 2nd was our last day to receive comments from our public meeting that we had on November 7th, which went actually pretty well. We had much more people than I expected, probably close to 20 people. We got quite a few comments. It was mostly from people not in my backyard, which is fine. We've documented that, and we've included our findings or the outcome from that in our Appendix B of our final report. We have collected and we have incorporated all those public comments that we received up to December 2nd in the report, and it will be delivered to COV and HADCO by the end of this month, December. With that, that concludes our presentation. Thank you today for taking the time to listen to me talk about it, and that's it. Thank you.